we're reaching the end of, again, a busy, long, tiresome, fatiguing year. Many of us have been stretched by politics and issues here at home, but also we're not immune to the politics, the geopolitics, and the issues, whether it be a direct impact on our politics here, our economy, or on the toll that we experience. Many issues. So I'm going to be reflecting on the meaning of 2024 with several voices, and today I will speak to Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, a founder of Gift of the Givers, a man who has since 1992 has delivered not only to the people of South Africa, but for countries around the world. Whenever Gift of the Givers does something, people say Imtiaz Sooliman for president. I say no. He is great and awesome for what he does, where he is at, and he must continue to serve not only South Africa, but the rest of the world in that capacity. So he joins me now on the line. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, hope you well, Doc. You have been on our show already talking to us about your history, and I say this, and I told you then, a beautiful failed political experiment, because you ran for parliament in 1994. You didn't get enough seats to get a seat in our first democratic parliament, but I think that was a gift to South Africa, because then you could concentrate on the work that you've done with Gift of the Givers. Just last week, you were also awarded Philanthropist of the year. But I'm sure with all the accolades, all the support that you do get, you also must take a toll from everything that you have to be involved with here at home and abroad. How do you take a step back and reflect on 2024 as a year, Doctor?
Morning, Lester. Thanks for having me on your show again. Yes, I'm well. No issues. Thank you for that. You know, it was 32 years in doing what I do. You reach a stage where you become very resilient. You know, challenges and difficulties is very normal part of your life every single day. You expect those kind of challenges, and you need to be resilient against that, because you cannot afford to fall down, especially when people are dependent on you. Also, because it's a spiritual calling, there's a lot of prayer, and prayer and spirituality sustains you in what you do. And in reflection of what we do, of course, this morning actually, we're busy opening a containerized kitchen in Field. Now that project goes back to COVID in 2020, when on the 11th of September we got a call from a guy called Rashad Baker and an organization called Compassionate Hearts, and they said, it's COVID. We've been asked to contact you. We started a feeding center. There's 93% unemployment in the town. The banks and everything have closed. We don't know what to do. We're starting off with 20 kids. It's reached 50. It's going to 400. Can you help? From that day onwards, we intervened. We took in food parcels. We took in bulk food. Companies came forward. We set up feeding centers. We intervened with medical teams twice. We brought in a whole lot of stationery, pulled our teeth from 400 kids on the first time. The second time, another 400 kids. Took in opticians to check eyes, did 130 cataracts, and took in medical students, took in allied health sciences students from CPUT, UWC, to assist to train them, because COVID, everything was, on correspondence. You were not actually in the wards and training. So it's been a long story. And eventually last year, a Dutch television company, apparently the biggest one in Netherlands, heard about us. They did their due diligence, and they decided they want to partner us. When the producers came, they wanted to see Field. Somehow they selected that project. When they came on site, they started cheering and seeing the difficulty of people. They saw the feeding center we set up, and on the spot, the guy said, "I'd like to sponsor a containerized kitchen." And that kitchen was delivered last week, and today, the Dutch Consul General officially opens that container at 10 o'clock this morning. We have Christmas kind of gifts for the people in the town and for the children. The Klopse are going to be there. In their whole life, Sophie has never seen what a Klopse is all about. So we're taking it there to give them some kind of entertainment for the festive season, but more than that, to create more awareness of the feeding center. That's one of the kind of things that we do. It's continuous sustainability.
You raised Toast River, and Toast River is the site of probably the most heartbreaking pictures that I have seen this year, news photographs. It was a picture of a boy whose family was so poor they did not even have a container to place a little bit of soup in at a soup kitchen. So what this boy did, he had a deflated little plastic soccer ball, and he made that into a bowl, and he then presented himself to a soup kitchen line, asking them to fill this particular, what is a rudimentary receptacle of a deflated football. And it just brings into context that poverty is so entrenched in South Africa that people literally don't even have a bowl, a cup, an empty margarine container, even to stand in line at the soup kitchen, Doctor.
Yes, and while saying that, that brings out something else, the resilience of the people of Tozelfield. They're always smiling when you see them. You know, they clean the streets. If you drive through that town, you won't find a piece of paper anywhere on the road. They are so proud of their town. They're so empowered. They're so positive in spite of the hardship and the difficulty. So that we even help them. The dirt they collected, we sent it to Cape Town for recycling. They didn't get much money out of it, but it's the effort and the determination that's critical. I mean, they started on their own to feed 20 kids, 50 kids, 400 kids. It's gone to over 1,000 people, not only kids. It's the elderly, it's infirm, it's, unemployed people, children, everybody coming. Whilst we talk on Tozelfield, I ask your listeners, and I don't know how far your program extends, but if you're going to Tozelfield, whether you're coming from the Johannesburg side, the Durban side, or the Cape Town side, please stop in the town, buy something, support a town. A lot of people just drive through. Yeah. There used to be a game reserve there. It started again. Please support the game reserve. These people are not asking for a handout. They get empowered when we support the economy. We can create jobs again. Please stop in the town, fund at the filling station, buy something from the garage. Do it before you stop anywhere else. Do it. Yeah. We can help them without them having to stretch the hand out. That's how South Africans help each other.
I'll be driving past there. I hit the road on Saturday, and Toast River after Ditwaring's, after you go over the Hex River, the Hex Pass, that the next town will be Toast River, and I usually do make that a particular stop there. But I also can't ignore that, like, it's not just South Africa that where Gift of the Givers has a presence. Across Africa, you've done work in northern Syria. You're also then drawn into needs of international concern. Before I deal with the elephant on the room, on the attacks on your person in terms of your support and your aid for Gaza, talk to me about Syria. What does the deposing of Bashar al-Assad mean to you when it comes to the work that the Gift of the Givers have been doing in Syria, northern Syria, over the last few years, Doctor?
It just expands our reach inside Syria. We were not welcome on Assad's side because we called him out for he was 12 years ago. And, we set up in the north. We have a fantastic relationship with all the communities. There's a Christian community in a place called Kuneya and Yakubia that we take care of. We took care of them when we intervened in 2012, when we established the hospital. And from then, ever since, they've been looked after by our doctors. The priest from one, Hana Jaluf, is a priest from one of the Catholic areas. He visited us in 2022 before he went to visit the Pope at the Vatican. He then got appointed as the president of the churches inside Syria. And again, he came back to visit us. He was with our teams in Aleppo last week, as Assad was falling. And we have a very close relationship with them. So that expansion now of the hospital services in North Syria, we can move to other parts of the country quite freely because, we serve all communities unconditionally. Our teams haven't asked for any assistance yet, except the Universitas Hospital in capital Damascus has been badly damaged and they want to repair that hospital. They're going to come back to us for the costing. But to answer your question, we can get to many more areas. But I think the pressure is going to decrease on us now because many Syrians are coming back. The economy will improve. People will bring their own money to help their own families. So in the long run, I think our presence in Syria may become less expensive when the government and the people start taking care of themselves. So it will sort of reduce a project that we started in October 2012, and that helps us. We'll carry support them as much as we can, but it will help us in that. I'm sure they will take over back looking after health, housing, and all those kind of issues. We put in many houses for refugees. We just finished another lot of 200 houses. We put in a women and childcare center inside in Aleppo. We've got another women and childcare. Sorry, not Aleppo, in Idlib. We've got another women and childcare center in a place called Darkush, where we initially started. But to me, this is very positive. I see as an end to suffering, torture, imprisonment, the families being reunited with their families, but their loved ones, they haven't seen them for years, they didn't know where they were. So from a psychological point of view and a human point of view, this is very, very interesting and very, very good news that people can actually fight each other again.
I mention it even though I believe the attacks against you have and hold absolutely no weight and have absolutely no merit, but you've also expressed yourself over the last few weeks on the personal attacks against your credibility, particularly in your support for the people of Gaza and Palestinians in general. How have you dealt with it over this last few weeks, Doctor?
Well, I've ignored it, to be honest, initially. I never made a press statement because it was so ridiculous. And I know South Africans know who we are and what we do. I mean, there was so much of, first of all, I was trying to wonder who they're referring to in that article, because everything there was, was false. The most ridiculous thing is that we are proxy for Iran. Now, Iran actually hates me, because at the same time in 2012, when I called out Assad, I called out Iran for supporting Assad, and I called out Hezbollah for supporting Assad when you were killing, ordinary civilians on the north. And a lot of groups, Muslim groups, got angry with me because I spoke out, and I said, under Quranic law, we speak the truth no matter who it is, against yourself, against your people, against any group. I can't defend, Iran killing and Hezbollah killing innocent civilians, no matter who they are, on the north. And that's why Assad, Iran, and Hezbollah actually hated me. In one of the incidents, the religious leaders on the north had to take a decision. Iranian snipers were sitting on the top of the minaret of a mosque and shooting civilians. And they then had to take a decision what to do. Then they blew up the minaret of the mosque because life is more precious than a religious building. And there were many such incidents, and which I called it out. So I have absolutely no relationship to Iran. And secondly, to say that, that I'm close to Hamas, it's another falsehood. Hamas doesn't like me. In 2009, when I was in Gaza, I called them out. I said, you want the world to help you. And this is a press conference live inside Gaza to say you want the world to help you. But for the world to help you, you guys need to organize yourself and not have splinter groups. Otherwise, how do you have resistance? They were very angry with me. And I mean, I'm not interested in politics. My life is about humanitarian aid and to help people. That's what I specialize in. It sounds like a political statement when you're supporting people, well, that's just too bad, because I act according to Quranic instruction, which tells you to call out to stand up for the oppressed, for those that are healing, that are bleeding, that are in pain, that are in suffering. That's what I do. And if people don't like it, well, that's just too bad.
Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, founder of Gift of the Givers, continue to do your good work. Thank you so much for your support and your help across the years. And I wish you a peaceful time over 2024's end of year and best of luck for 2025.